Okay, so today I'm gonna go over how to hit back and biceps at home. Let's get into it. Okay, so back and biceps, I will say this is probably gonna be the video with the least amount of versatility, just because with your biceps, like I'll show you later, there isn't really a bunch of different ways to hit your biceps. There's only so many. And with your back, I'd say your back's probably the hardest muscle for you to train at home. So I'm gonna show you, once again, I'm gonna keep it with just the dumbbell and the bench, but I am gonna make one kind of like exception, exclusion, whatever you want to say, caveat. So ideally, to hit back, you really do want to be able to do some form of a pull-up. So if you could get a pull-up bar, I would highly suggest that. If you want to figure out, if you can't do pull-ups at all, how to start being able to do them. Okay, so I'm quickly going to show you all the pull-up progression. So first, you're going to start with just a dead hang like this. Do this for like, I don't know, try and get to like 40, 50 seconds. So you're literally just going to dead hang like that. That's where you're going to start. That'll help you build some of the grip strength for pull-ups. And it also is actually a really good stretch for your back. So there's that. Then you're gonna do a scapular pull-up. So you're gonna go here and you just retract your scapula. And you see I'm not really going high up. I'm just going here, down, here, down. And you're just retracting your scapula. So that would be next. Then you're gonna do a negative pull-up. So you're gonna grab the bar like you normally. You're gonna jump to the top and then come down. So I'll show you real quick. You're gonna jump to the top, hold here, and then slowly go down. Put your feet down. Jump up, slowly go down. That would be the next step. Then from there, honestly, I'd probably say a banded pull-up, but I don't have a band up here. You just tie the band up here, put it around your legs or your feet somehow. Do assisted pull-ups that way. Then when you start body weight, I would start with chin-ups because they're easier. So you're gonna grab it this way, hands facing out. Chin-ups. There you go. And then last, you're gonna get to the final part of the progression, pull-ups. So that is a pull-up progression, but don't forget, pull-ups are extremely difficult, so expect this to take you a while. Like, I started with an assisted pull-up machine. That made it easier, but this is gonna take you forever if you're just starting with pull-up bars. So, back to the video. With that said, let's hit back. So, when you're hitting back, even if you're in a gym, you're really only ever doing like a pull-down or a row. Those are the only two ways you can really train your back. If you think about any back exercise, that's always what you're doing. You're pulling like this, you're pulling like this. That's pretty much hitting back. Or there is like a pullover, but I'll show you that later. So with that being said, the first one we're gonna do is, and there's so many different variations of this, I'm gonna show a couple, but I would interchange and do a couple of them probably. So first, you could do a bent over. This bench is a little low. I'd probably prefer something a little taller, so maybe I'll use this. I don't know. I don't have anything that's a great height here. I'd probably want to be like leaning on something this height where my hand is right here. But from here, just a dumbbell row like this. And when you're doing back exercises, you want to pull through your elbow is the way people describe it. So I'm gonna put this down and try and show you. When I'm pulling, actually, so from here, if you notice, I'm not pulling up like this. I'm pulling through my elbow. My elbow is what controls it. And that's how you really engage your lats in your back. So there's a bent over dumbbell row where you're leaning on something. You could do a bent over dumbbell row like this, not holding anything. And do a row like this. This will definitely engage your core a little bit more because you need it for the stability to hold yourself up. Those are two different row variations. If you had a barbell, you could do that. So that would hit more of your, I would say this, of which part of your back it hits, I don't know why. I'm very The back always confuses me. So those are two different row variations. To hit your upper back, you could do, I guess traps would technically be shoulders, but either way I'll show it. You could do shoulder shrugs. That's gonna train your traps up here. There you go. And another one is called a high row. This trains your upper back. So you're gonna grab the dumbbells like this, go up, 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 like that. This probably isn't the best form. This isn't an exercise I regularly do, but that is also going to be for your upper back. So those are pretty much your row variations. If you want to look them up, I'm sure there's a billion more. If you had a bench that inclined or declined, you could lay on it with your chest down if you had an incline, and then do rows chest supported. So the bench would be here, the dumbbells would be on the side, and you'd row. This bench does not do that, so I cannot show you that. The next one is a pullover. So quickly, I'm going to move this bench. It doesn't work great on this bench, but we're gonna make it work. So I'm going to move this dumbbell over here. So with a pullover, actually, you know what? Let me try and do it sideways so you guys can see. I might die, but you know, that's whatever. So I'm gonna leave the dumbbell here. You would probably do this laying entirely on the bench and just have your head off it or like towards the back. I'm doing it this way just to show you. So we're going to get here. I'm gonna hold myself up because like I said, I'm doing it differently. Then from here, you have the dumbbell over your face. Now you're gonna have your elbows with a slight bend, but from here, you're just going back and up, back, like you're placing it on a table almost behind your head. This is a pullover, so this will definitely train your lats. It is definitely a difficult exercise. You could, I guess, grip it this way. I prefer doing a hand grip like this. So you can see, for me, that's the most comfortable. Back and up. Oh my God. Oh my, that was difficult. Doing it that way. So ideally though, I can't do it because the wall behind me and just this entire setup, but you could just do that laying flat on a bench. These are in the way kind of on this bench, so I'd have to do it in reverse. That's pretty much back training. And as I said, you'd want to do pull-ups as well, but there really isn't a lot of different ways to hit your back at home. It's not like some of the other muscles. It's kind of like chest, like in the last video, but there's really only, you can only press or fly for chest. That's pretty much it. If you were looking for something just body weight, there isn't really much. If you had a band, you could pull a band around something and just row with, so the band would be in your hands, have it around something over there, whatever, but put it around the Christmas tree, and then have the resistance this way, and you would just pull. That would hit your back. I'm trying to think, but that really is it. Back is not an easy muscle to train at home. So with that being said, this is about back and biceps, so let's get into biceps. One quick note is all of the back exercises will secondarily train your biceps. They will be engaged, so that is a good thing. So for biceps, similarly to back, there's only so many ways to hit them. And this is honestly with most of your muscles, there's really only so many different ways you can hit them. Like, you can change the angle of something a little bit, but that's really more what you do in a gym. If you're training at home, there's only so many exercises you can do. So for biceps, obviously, we have the most basic exercise there is. Let me grab the dumbbell. The dumbbell curl, bang, 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 bang. Very easy. Now, that is with your palms facing up. I was curling like this. Now you could do a reverse curl. Would be kind of hard with these. If you happen to have a barbell or something, you could do a reverse curl. If you wanted to, I don't really know how you do it, a reverse curl with this. I guess you could, oh, that's very hard. You need to go very light for that. So that would be very difficult. Now, another great bicep exercise that this is one I regularly do, even at the gym, is a hammer curl. So dumbbells facing like this. You can curl across your body or you can go straight. Either way, you can do them one at a time, like this. You could do them at the same time. That's really up to preference. So hammer curls are another great bicep exercise. If you did have a band, put it under your feet, grab it, curl. Like every bicep exercise is a curl, so there's only so many different ways you can do it. So with that being said, I will show you something called a concentration curl. So your arm would go inside your leg like this, and from here, curl, curl, and like this. That's another curl variation. If you did have a bench that inclined, like I was talking about earlier, you could lay in that same chest supported position. So you'd be bent over like this, your feet probably out more, but I don't have anything supporting me. The bench would be here along your chest. And then from there, with that chest support, you could curl like that. You could also do an incline bench curl, which I'll pop up now because, as I said, my bench is not inclined. Incline bench curls and hammer curls are two curls that I regularly do every time, pretty much. So those are two great curl variations. With that being said, that pretty much would be everything you can do to hit back on biceps. Like, if you want to look up some more curl variations or some more row variations, feel free, go do it. But there's only so many out there. And in essence, they all are hitting the same muscle just in a slightly different way. So that's really just preference at that point. The last thing I will add before this is over is how to hit forearms, because I hit that on back and biceps day. So with forearms, you're gonna use a bench, a chair, whatever. You're gonna do a forearm curl. So your arm is going to be flat on the bench like this with your wrist just over. And then from here, I'll do it this way so you can see. You let the dumbbell roll down to your fingertips, curl. And you wanna curl all the way up. Down, curl, down, curl. Now, obviously I would do this way, but I just wanted to show you because that angle obviously was very awkward. So that is a great exercise for your forearms. So with that being said, that is a great way to train your forearms, your biceps, and your back. So do some sort of combination of all these. As I said, minimum you want to be doing 8 working sets per week per muscle group. So that would mean 8 sets of biceps, 8 sets of back, 8 sets of forearms. You probably don't need to do 8 because you're training them during a lot of other exercises. But that is the minimum. I'd say the maximum you really need to, be doing, or need to, would be 20 to 24 sets a week. And then that would be like the top end. You could do more if you wanted, but I don't really see a need to. So anywhere between 8 and 24 sets, and you're gonna be looking good, making progress. I typically do 16, so just for context, I do somewhere in the middle. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys can start hitting back and buys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.